From a hidden cost perspective, what kind of cost brands actually incur by not optimizing the right shipping for their store?
It's a lot. So if you think about it from a marketing lens of how much you're spending on getting a customer to go to your store.
App founders' perspective, what do you think has changed in the overall Shopify ecosystem, let's say back in 2015-16 versus 2026?
One is that I feel if we launched intuitive shipping today and we submitted it, it gets approved, we would not have the same traction.
How do you think e-commerce brands should actually think about packaging overall?
The first time you're actually physically seeing it is when it arrives. You want to have a box that's ripped apart or that is late or huge, and the person's like has the panic of, well, where is it? Like, where's the item?
What's the one common shipping mistake brands often do?
Oh gosh, I think they charge too little.
Hey. Welcome to the SaaS Hub Podcast, and this is the Shopify App Founders Edition, Season 1. I'm your host, Yuvraj Kevte, founder at thesaaShub.com, a platform curating the top Shopify apps across every category, helping merchants, agencies, and founders make better tooling decisions for their app stack. On the show, we go behind the scenes with the builders shaping the Shopify ecosystem. Real conversations, real insights, real lessons. This episode is supported by the Support Heroes. They help Shopify app founders deliver high-quality customer support as their apps grow. Today, I'm joined by Sharon Green, CEO and co-founder at Intuitive Shipping, one of the most advanced shipping and rate optimization apps on Shopify. Shipping is often treated as oppression, but in reality, it directly impacts margins, checkout conversions, and customer experience. Sharon, great to have you here today.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Now, Sharon, before we get into the shipping strategy and more about the app, I would really love to learn more about your journey even before intuitive shipping.
Yeah. So, oh gosh, where do I start? Because we actually just had our 8-year company anniversary, which is insane to think about. But my background's actually in human resources management, which is some people ask me when I meet them at places, and they're like, "How did HR turn into shipping?" And I'm like, "It just kind of happened." But realistically, I think that my educational background and my interests have created an environment for my staff to actually have somewhere they're happy with. But way back when, oh gosh, it was 2016. My son was 2 months old. And so just fun context. My co-founder is actually my ex-husband. We were together when we started the company. Some people are like, wait, how do you do that? But it works. But at the time we had a newborn baby and we're like, hey, we should build something for Shopify. And somehow we managed to have a newborn baby, which obviously over time passes, they grow a little bit. But I was on mat leave. I had our son's name's Teddy. I was actually just parenting, like mothering. And then when he was napping, I wasn't napping. They always tell you to nap. I was actually doing market research of what do people need on Shopify. And then my co-founder is actually working full time at an engineering firm. And by the way, so his background, which everyone's like, what did he do? He designed ductwork for commercial spaces. And yeah, so he actually developed in his spare time. So he would come home, build the app. And then about a year after this, we launched, and it was supposed to be a side hustle. And then we quickly realized, okay, it's actually a thing. Like this actually has legs. And it kind of feels like a blur looking back, but it's just all the right moves just happened to be made, and it was the right place, right time, a lot of it. The ecosystem was very, very open to bootstrapping, and 8 years later, here we are today.
That's crazy. But I do have a question. Like most founders, like again, I have had many roles and I've conducted a couple of interviews, not podcasts, but when I talk to them and when they bring up maternity and when they bring up starting a new project, it's mostly related to kids. That's how one of the brands who was my previous customer, Bailey's Blossom, Erin started her store when she had a daughter, right? Her name was Bailey, so Bailey's
That
Blossom
oh,
was.
I thought that's beautiful.
Yeah. So again, typically when someone goes through that motherhood experience, having a toddler at home, typically the projects that they do are revolving around their kids and everything. How did you guys ended up in shipping?
So it was just kind of a happy accident, I guess. So on my co-founder Joel's side, he built apps for another platform called OpenCart. And so it was like, gosh, it was 2011. So he was like early 20s himself. And he had apps in every type of different space, like even like banners on the site. Like he had apps for everything. Shipping was the one that I think made his brain the happiest because there's a lot of complexity and a lot of just logic that you have to think about behind the scenes. And for me, I was 6 feet tall. Obviously, I'm sitting, like, across the world from you right now. Like, you can't tell at all, and I'm 6 feet. I've always had trouble shopping in person, and then online, everything was so expensive to ship, and I'm like, "Why is it $50 to ship a pair of pants? Like, this doesn't make sense." And then through what Joel was doing, I realized, oh, they don't have a tool for this. Like, it's actually a thing of them. The actual merchant wants to ship in a cost-effective way to them, but also not overcharge. But there's no actual tool on their end with their e-commerce platform to do it properly. So that's where I just really, really fell in love with this problem. And I like to consider myself, my shopping problem, I call it market research. And it's hey, I it's all fun. Um, but for me, I continuously just look at things at checkout that just don't make sense that can be solved. And actually, this might be a fun time to tell you that in this will probably be out after this is released, but, on Earth Day, we're launching what's called the Greenest Choice, and it's not named after me. It's not because my shopping problems, but, so Earth Day, we're launching it because what we've actually realized is that the e-commerce activities will always produce carbon. You will always, no matter what, you're still gonna be emitting some form of harm to the planet, but the faster shipping speeds exponentially are worse. In our data, it's 4 times on average worse for the environment to have faster shipping. So this feature is going to be on all of the intuitive shipping plans, and what it does is it just taps into delivery dates and will show the end buyer the carbon impact of faster shipping. So, you might not actually need that swimsuit next week if you're gonna be going on vacation next month. So just it makes you rethink the impact of your choices.
Right. That's actually a very clever way. I've actually seen this on delivery apps. Like when you order food from a quick commerce or a quick delivery app, they say faster delivery or regular delivery. When you do regular delivery, they kind of then pool your order with other deliveries in that area so that the riders are also not uh, overburdened. But I think, yeah, definitely this is a clever way of probably combining all the deliveries in a particular locale and then sending it out at the same time.
Yeah, it's something that and actually fun fact about this is in our research, we did realize as well, because I used to assume, "Oh, if I just go pick it up, it's probably fine for the environment." It's actually so much worse if I ship an order to a store at the mall, it is so much worse for the environment if I actually go drive to pick it up because I am just going from my house to the mall to pick it up. That is one trip for one purpose, where the delivery truck, when it's full, they have the most optimized route for that day of shipments.
Exactly. Have you partnered with some delivery app for optimizing the routes, or it's done through third party?
So we pull it from, just the carriers we use. So we work with, I think, 8 different carriers, I believe. And then we have a whole algorithm. My developers worked so hard, and I just came to them like, "I want this," and they're like, "We'll do it." So there's this whole crazy algorithm behind the scenes. So even if it's not a carrier we use, we still can actually figure out the carbon difference between where it's going. And realistically, for us, we're located in St. Catharines, Ontario. We're about an hour outside of Toronto. So for us, if I choose ground shipping or express, it's coming the same speed because it's coming from Toronto. But if the warehouse is in British Columbia, that's when, which is totally opposite end of the country for us, that's when the bigger impact happens. It's going to be taking a plane versus maybe a train or a truck across the country. So, and that's the thing. So we notice the bigger impact on further shipments. And if you think about it, most people don't live that close to the warehouse. So I'm really excited to see the actual like impact this makes because I have a son, you have kids. So it's just one of those things of I want to make sure that they have a planet and that, it can actually sustain them when they're my age even.
No, I think that's really great when companies thinks about sustainability in such a close fashion. So kudos to you and kudos to the team for building this feature out. Now, I've worked with a ton of e-commerce brands. I mean, if I have to give a count, I probably personally spoken with over 3,000 plus brands in the last 10 years of working in the Shopify ecosystem. What I feel is most e-commerce brand today still thinks about shipping as something they could just configure once and forget. But what they fail to realize that shipping actually sits at an intersection of costs, conversion, and customer experience, right? Where do you think brands get shipping wrong even today?
I think that where they get it wrong is by not really knowing who at their company should own that piece. And because if you think about where intuitive shipping lies, we're in the checkout. Most brands don't really look at their checkout very often. They're looking at their storefront, their products, all these pieces. So for them, they're like, well, because we do touch marketing, we touch customer support, we touch the operations, we touch finance. So I find that brands are kind of like, well, it might just be their problem because it is complex. So realistically, by just having your shipping say shipping, I see this so many times, by the way, it just says shipping. And I'm like, yep, yes, the shipping step says shipping, yes. And it just has a flat rate, but there's not even a delivery estimate. So you have no idea when you're going to get your orders. So I think the problem is that the actual brand assumes that the end customer has all the information that they have. And they're like, well, it's obvious. We just ship it and it comes. But the end consumer is actually shopping at stores that have accurate delivery estimates. How many people shop at Amazon? And Amazon has created this precedent of fast shipping, which, as we just discussed, is harmful to the environment. But people just don't really think of it as something cool either. Like shipping realistically, it's like it's not sexy. It's not like, oh my God, shipping, that's so fun. Let's talk all day about it. No one except well, I guess we do that because maybe we're weird. But I think that brands just pass it off, and because it's not one of their core focuses in their department, they tend to just kind of just ignore that it's there.
Yeah. No, I think that's really amazing perspective. Uh, from a hidden cost perspective, what kind of cost brands actually incur by not optimizing the right shipping for their store?
Oh my gosh, the cost. It's a lot. So if you think about it from a marketing lens of how much you're spending on getting a customer to go to your store. So great, you've got the customer on your store and to get them to go to the checkout. So now you've actually made it so your product pages are optimized. You're spending all this time and money making sure your brand just presents well. And then they actually lose it right at checkout. They spend all this money on ads, all these beautiful pictures and stuff, and someone abandons the checkout because shipping's ambiguous or the cost just doesn't make sense or they just don't ship to a certain area because, well, it's too much money, so they're not going to order it and just costs us a lot of money. We can't do flat shipping. But the reality is you can use an app like Intuitive Shipping to control those pieces. So maybe you're offering flat rate shipping for customers who do fit kind of the commonality, but the people who are more in rural zones, just charge them the live rate. Um, but also where people are losing a ton of money, we actually have a case study coming out about this, is by not using dimensional rates. So there are some areas like clothing is very easy to have a flat rate. Like shipping clothing it's pretty, it's light, it's not huge. But anyone who's selling automotive equipment, furniture, perishable goods, those are where people are losing money. And the dimensional weight, which anything in it really is just like the size. They care about the size more than the actual weight of it. So if you have a microwave sized box, but it has a packing peanut in it, it will still cost more to ship than a smaller, heavier box because it just takes up more space. So brands are losing. This one actually we just spoke to, they were sometimes losing $80 in shipping on an order. So they not only completely just negated a profit on that, they actually lost so much money sending that order out. And that's just one of those things, like, it doesn't make sense to even sell it then. So they're losing money, but also they don't really know they're doing it because the checkout step and the actual labeling, warehousing step, and then the actual financial management, they are so far removed from each other that they really don't necessarily even know where to look.
Right. Wow. That's actually very crazy how brands could easily lose out on 60, 70, $80 and not factor that into their, return on investments or their margins. I don't want to share one example and would love to get your perspective since you are in this ecosystem. Uh, I recently ordered a couple of products from a very large e-commerce merchant in India. Again, they are a global company, so they are available everywhere. But the funny part is, when the order actually arrived, the packaging was surprisingly way too big for the product that was there. The product was like yeah size, and the packaging box was like this big. I don't think my hands are even in the screen right now. Yeah. I was just genuinely thinking about how much packaging waste, how much shipping inefficiency and unnecessarily cost must be happening across e-commerce every single day because of these kind of inaccurate packagings. From your perspective, how big of a problem is this, and is there actually a better way to solve something like this today?
Well, hi. Here's one of the features we have actually does solve this. So this actually happened. I had actually posted a few months ago, and it was family day. I was just like a little bit just I got an order from it might be the same retailer, and it was literally a nail polish, and it came in a box that could fit a MacBook. It was size of a MacBook, but like this tall. And I'm like, why? And I was so irritated. I post on LinkedIn. I'm like, why is this happening? There is so much, not only for the environmental impact of this is just so unnecessary. Like, why are we manufacturing larger cardboard? You're putting extra stuff in there to make sure the product doesn't break. So environment's terrible. The extra cost, people always forget too that the box size variation of maybe box A to B in size, that costs money. It's about 30-ish cents depending on where you get your boxes and your volume, but one box size up, you're spending more money. So you're losing money there and stuff. But realistically, it's a piece of at the warehouse speed. If you look at how the KPIs of a warehouse worker are, it's very much how many orders can you get through? So if you and your colleague are both in the warehouse and you do like 10 more orders an hour, you're getting raises. They're patting you on the back. But they're not actually looking at down the line, oh, you're sending up boxes that are huge. So yes, you're faster, but you're costing the company so much money. So one feature we have, I say one because we have so many features in our app. But it's called smart boxing. So what it does, it kind of like Tetris style packs orders at the time of checkout and then passes the data to a carrier for a live freights that are actually accurate. But we actually have, and this is what was interesting, we made the feature for accuracy for people who saw maybe big, heavy items, just big things, just for accuracy. And we had some people saying, hey, can I do table rates with this? Can I just do flat rates, but still send the boxing data to my warehouse? And we're like, why? And they're like, oh, it helps our warehouse workers choose the best box size. So we actually developed a feature that helps with sustainability and just efficiency without even trying. And all the merchant has to do is put their box sizes in, their carrier they ship with, and that's pretty much it. Because dimensions can just come from Shopify on Metafield. So it's such an easy solution to a problem that it seems so hard to solve, but it's with the right tool, it's not.
Right. So I think this smart boxing feature really sounds interesting because I think the right kind of packaging definitely impacts the overall shipping cost. probably again influence the overall carrier rates and helps with overall optimized margins also for brands.
Oh, totally. And even for I think of the end customer of how annoyed people get because I just don't like having to break down a bigger box because I'm having to score it more and kind of fold it in. Like it's just an irritating experience because people tend to forget the actual delivery of something and having that nice unboxing is part of your brand. It's the
Right.
moment where it becomes digital to physical, so people need to focus more on that.
Yeah. And then when you talk about scale, even a small inefficiency like, packaging something small in a very big box can compound quite significantly.
Oh, it's huge. The amount of money people spend just on bigger packages for no reason other than just speed is just unnecessary, really.
Okay. Do you have any real world example of one of your customers probably benefiting from this smart boxing feature?
So I know for a lot of them, it's more when they come to us with these holy crap, we're saving money. It's more about that merchant who was spending an extra $80 on shipping that they weren't collecting at checkout. So we have hundreds of our merchants who use us for smart boxing because it's the accuracy of the live rates. And there's actually also, what's interesting is there's a difference of people I wouldn't know either if I wasn't in this space. There's a difference between volumetric shipping and what smart boxing does, which is more of like the actual Tetris packet and moves things around. We also have, you can stack things as well. So if we have like some people who sell, musical items. And if you're buying the guitar and a guitar case, they can actually ship the guitar in the guitar case.
Yeah, in the
So it
case.
can actually nest it inside, and so it's really cool. But with volumetric shipping, what happens is it'll take the dimensions of an item and assume it's like, okay, the total volume of it. It doesn't actually take like this cup, for example, it's taller than it is wide. The volume of it would just make it like kind of a cube. And then it would try and pack it so the actual box it'd recommend is not accurate.
Right.
So it's we do have hundreds of merchants who have saved on just accuracy at checkout. Most of them don't actually tell us actually, and I wanna ask them, about the box cost savings of just having the data just for smaller packages.
Got it. How do you think e-commerce brands should actually think about packaging overall? Is it more like a operational thing or should they treat it as part of their, say, broader efficiency and cost strategy?
I think it's both. It's you can't just forget one and favor the other, but I think that if you think about everything from the end person, who is the last person who'll be touching what I'm selling? That's how I like to think of things, even on our end with our app. We're thinking, well, if I was going into an app and I'm like, I need to solve a problem, if I'm entering it, how would I even start? Where would I go? What issues or fears would I have? So I just wish that people, I think, would spend more time and focus on that for their own buyers. If I'm a merchant, actually focusing on that for the end person because everyone, when you order online, you're waiting for the actual product to reach you. So think about the actual branding experience. That's huge. You're actually taking something. If you're discovering a new brand, the first time you're actually physically seeing it is when it arrives. You want to have a box that's ripped apart or that is late or huge and the person's like has the panic of, well, where is it? Like, where's the item? So I think it's both though, because you obviously can't just overspend for the unboxing and then impact your bottom line either.
Right. So if I have to zoom out, typically shipping is part of unit economics too, right? How should brands actually think about shipping in relation to, let's say, CAC, AOV, or contribution margins?
They really should just I think it's not even how they're thinking of it. It's right now they're not thinking of it at all. They're thinking of it just solely in terms of we have to do this. What can we do? Let's just do that. So it really is just if you put it into, I think actually your customer acquisition cost, it does make sense because it's just the cost of doing something.
Got it. Now, from a full user experience, shipping shows up at the very final stage of checkout. How much does it actually influence conversions for brands?
A lot. There's it's one of those things, but there's again a balance. So I think you have to there's a few things to kind of design your shipping strategy around. So one is if I'm selling clothing, it is going to be really, really weird if everyone else has a free shipping threshold and it's, oh, spend over X and then get free shippings. If I'm always charging for shipping, I'm not competitive anymore.
Right.
But the thing is too, for some of our merchants, they actually lose conversions at first, which sound you're like, "Oh my god, what?" But if you think back to that store of ours that was losing $80 to ship something, that's actually a loss of $80. They don't want that conversion. So conversions don't always equal profit, and that's the thing. So shipping does have a major impact on it. You have to look at what are your competitors doing, but also what is gonna make me money. So it's a tricky one that's really personal to each store, and that's actually why, we really are trying to, not avoid AI, but from a support lens, we really, really encourage when people install us to go on an onboarding call because we walk through with them the different aspects of how you can use shipping as a leveraging tool. And really, like, we might have 20 different home furnishing store onboardings in a week, and they're all so different in what they need to do.
Got it. Sharon, can you please share a couple of best practices when it comes to shipping, which brands can quickly follow and improve their overall checkout experience?
Yes. So one of them is delivery dates. It is such a huge piece. Because if I don't know when it's going to arrive, I may not order because if I need it by a certain time, but because people that's the thing. I think it's no one's Amazon, but you're still competing against them because they always have the delivery date. So having that will just automatically improve your conversions immediately. But also, and this is contrary to the whole greenest choice piece, still offering something beyond just standard shipping, having a faster option is still going to increase conversions. Because if I have a wedding this weekend and I'm like, oh my God, my dress doesn't fit anymore, the zipper broke, and I need a new dress by Friday. And I go to a store and there's just standard shipping, and I'm like, okay, it might take 8 days. That's next week. I'm not gonna order that dress. You just lost a sale at some huge it'll be such an easy purchase for me. But I'm gonna go somewhere else where I can make sure it's gonna be here in time, so I look cute at the wedding.
No, this actually reminds me of an example like during last Diwali, which is a big festival here in India. My sister is in US. Her friend was supposed to travel to US, and I wanted to gift her Indian traditional attire,
Oh,
right?
I love that.
I purchased this huge, very costly dress, but they did not mention anything about shipping. But I assumed like, hey, okay, worst case, it'll come in like a week's time. The friend is gonna go like 25 days, from today.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're like,
there are many
it's
just
fine.
gonna get it. So I went ahead, placed an order. It costed somewhere close to $250 or something. When I placed the order, there was no support number available so that I can call. I did not receive any confirmation email. The confirmation email I got was 3 days after me placing the order, after me messaging them on Facebook, going to the Instagram page, trying to find all certain. I also even went to the founder's LinkedIn page, sent them a connection request, and asked like, "Dude, what's happening? I don't
Yeah,
have."
like, where is it? What's going on?
And then on the seventh day, I receive an email saying that, hey, all the products shown on the website are custom made, order only. So now this is gonna go to one of our craftsmen who will, in the next 4 weeks, go ahead and stitch it, and then we will ship it. So typically, I got the product after 60 days of me purchasing, and till date, the gift that I purchased for my sister, it's still sitting with me. She didn't receive it, and now
Oh
she'll
my
be coming in India, and
gosh.
so that's when she'll actually get it.
That is oh, that's awful. And the thing is but what's funny about that, though, is what you probably did, what most people do, is you default to what is the default. So if the information's not there, you're like, "Well, normally when I order, it takes this much time." So that lack of communication, that's how people get chargebacks, that's how they get negative reviews, and it's just communicate it. Don't also because sometimes people hide it in their shipping page too, and Do you really want someone who's like, "Oh, this is so good, I'm gonna buy it," to be like, "What are the policies?" No one wants you to leave that flow of actually wanting to buy it. So if you have the proper expectation at checkout, so actually you can use Intuitive to they could to have a thing saying, "Hey, like this is custom order. Please allow 6 to 10 weeks for it to be handmade for you."
Exactly.
And then if you leave, that's fine because again, is that a conversion you want if they're gonna be unhappy? It is, and it's all about informing people. Yes, it absolutely.
Because one thing which is very true, and again, that's one of the very reputed brands here in India. I'm never gonna buy from them.
No. And you're probably because I don't live in India, so I'm never gonna order from them, but I just wanna imagine how many people you've told and been like, "You will not believe this," and then you're telling them about the store, and then their perception changes.
Word of mouth.
Oh, it's huge, and people tend to think word of mouth of, like, going viral. I'm like, "No, like, people talk to their friends, and people's friend groups and stuff tend to order very similar things, so you've just lost maybe 5 customers by just not having some context."
And the funny part here with word of mouth is, like, when you had a good experience, you tell to all of your friends. Maybe one or two gets influenced, but when you have a bad experience and when you tell 10, 12 friends, all of them remember that very well.
Oh, yeah. You stop trusting immediately, and it happens here too. Everyone's like, "Ooh," and you have the thing of, like, "Do I wanna order from them?" You're always gonna have that piece.
Right, right. Now, coming back to the shipping thing, shipping logic is quite complex. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
how do you actually build a product that handles complexity without overwhelming users? Because again, when I go to analytics dashboard or when I go to some tools which probably have overwhelming features, overwhelming options, and here I think you also have to do calculations, dimensions, rates, and everything. How do you actually make it not overwhelming for your users?
That is a good question, and I do not think we'll ever get to a point where intuitive shipping is not overwhelming for people. I also think of, like, if you go to Facebook when they changed a layout and you're like, "What?" And everyone has this panic. So anything new already is like, "Whoa," you're overwhelmed because it's new to you. But it is a problem as a balancing act of having the common features. We have a lot of data. We love data. So we'll actually review what features are people always using. So those are the ones we always have to show, no matter what. And there's also some, because we need the advanced control, they're under optional things like, oh, show additional settings. There's even when I think it's for condition groups, we have in the actual like menu on the side, there's this little like eye like, "Ooh," kind of thing, little icon, and it says, "This is an advanced feature. Please contact support before using this," because people will break things. So, finding the balance for us, I mean, we just passed 8 years. We went from having our help center, by the way, is amazing. It is thorough, so good. But even with that, if someone's coming in, they don't really know where to go in a help center to help themselves. So we went from having use the help center, we had live chat and email, and then we swapped over to it just being, please just book an onboarding session. And some people they think they're gonna be sold to, they're not. If they go and book a call and they're like, hey, like I need this, we're like, oh, like that's actually not something we do. Here's where to go. Call ends, that's fine. But it's just something we learned over time that you can't offer something very complex and also have it be easy. It's those are just they're it's just they conflict with each other. You can't so we opted to just have humans. We invest so heavily in humans, and realistically, no one's going to book an hour-long onboarding call if they are not actually certain this is a solution. Like, they're just not gonna waste their time. But even beyond that, we also with these calls, we get so much knowledge of how to improve the app because I'm hearing from you how you would actually need a feature expanded on. And that's how we always actually stay ahead of the curve because we actually work with the very people using us.
Exactly. So I think that's very important. And as we all know, like, based on the conversation I'm having with you, shipping is an integral part, which directly impacts your revenue, your margins, your cost of acquisitions, and everything. When something goes wrong, the stakes are pretty high with a crucial app like this. Now, from a merchant's perspective, and since you keep talking to a lot of merchants and their team members, how important is customer support to inculcate that merchant confidence in this particular shipping space?
It's huge actually for us. I can obviously only speak to our experience with it, but our reviews, sometimes I ask my staff, I'm like, okay, but are you guys threatening somebody? Because some of them are so good. It's like a novel written, like Paul, oh, he should have a cape, Paul for president. And I'm like, we're in Canada, what? So people really, really love our support because realistically, if you do something wrong, so if you set something up completely incorrectly, you're either going to have the wrong cost, which negates the entire point of having an app like us, or your checkout will break. And you don't want your checkout breaking because no one can place an order. And we've had 100% uptime for years. Like, I cannot remember the last time we had any sort of blip. Like, the only blips we have are like, oh, if Canada Post is having an outage, which we'll post, but we can't control that. That's someone else. But we have that piece built. But if you put the wrong input in, it's going to have the wrong answer. So people really, really love it because they'll also come to us being like, "Hey, I really need dimensional shipping." And we're like, "Hey, like, how do you consider these other features that you can also use that are included in your plan?" Because we don't feature well either. We have everything included because my parents actually, I love I didn't even mention this yet. My parents, they have a very small store. So they hand make baby sweaters and then kind of wooden items and stuff. Yes, they sell on Etsy and their own Shopify store, and they actually use intuitive shipping. But for them, I look at how many features they use. And what I don't like about traditional models is having it where, okay, you're on the highest tier plan, which you're now spending a lot of money that you probably don't have when you're earlier on an app because you need the features. Like the actual shipping requirements are really defined by where the store is located, what they're shipping, and who they're shipping to. What they need isn't really a choice or like, oh, it's nice to have that. No, it's always it's a must have for success.
What I have seen is, I mean, what you mentioned, customer support definitely is very crucial when it comes to crucial apps like this. And I think in the overall Shopify ecosystem, since I'm building the SaaS Hub, I've been talking to a lot of founders, and what I have seen is most app founders typically underestimate how important support really is, especially as the product becomes more critical to businesses, right? Here's where I would love to give a quick shout out to the support heroes for supporting this episode. They help Shopify app founders scale support operations without compromising on quality, which becomes incredibly important as Shopify apps grow. Now, Sharon, you have been in the Shopify ecosystem for a while now. From a app founder's perspective, what do you think has changed in the overall Shopify ecosystem, let's say back in 2015-16 versus 2026?
Oh my gosh. Well, so much. So one is that I feel if we launched intuitive shipping today and we submitted it, it gets approved, we would not have the same traction. It was I feel that back when we started, it was very we own 100% of the company still. We were able to bootstrap. I don't necessarily think bootstrapping is a possibility anymore like it was. Um, I also just think that the App Store, I find that's actually why I love what you're doing at the SaaS Hub because there are so many apps that it becomes just noise. Like where like I'm thinking myself as a merchant, I'd go in and be like, oh dear God. Like I would have no clue where to go and what to choose because everything it seems almost like everything gets approved now. And it's tricky because you're like, I think competition is fantastic. I would never say we should be the only app because that's absurd. But when you're just approving apps because they get submitted, the code's okay, and they're free, and obviously people want free, but then you switch it to a paid model, which is tricky because then people feel they've been taken advantage of, and a lot of the reviews are just from when it was free. It's tricky, and I think it's kind of like it might have lost itself a bit, and I think that it used to be very merchant focused and very just value driven for them, and they didn't wanna have all that noise, but I think now it's just a lot of noise and confusion.
No, absolutely. So true. Every category today has 200, 300 apps. And with all the AI boilerplates and all the other AI platforms, creating an app is just becoming so much easy. Like a non-techie like me, I've created 3 apps. I haven't published them, but I've just prompted them, and it was so easy that even I could build my own app for a Shopify use case. So every day, what I'm particularly tracking is almost every week, 2 to 300 new apps are getting submitted, and that's just gonna get increased. My assumption is by end of 2027, we will have about 50,000 apps on the App Store, and today there are 25,000 apps, active, inactive, both, including 14,700 odd apps are actually active and people are using it. But then 14,000, or like 10, 15,000 others are not active. And imagine the kind of situation, the chaos it's gonna have when it's 50,000 apps. And that's why I think the SaaS Hub is going to be very crucial for merchants to find out faster apps which are pre-vetted, and also will help app founders to get their apps discovered if their app is actually something that moves the needle.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I love what you're doing because you actually have a quality control aspect. And I'm not saying that Shopify doesn't. They have a very, very solid, great team. But I think it's also we don't know how many apps fully they're saying no to maybe. So it might actually be these are the best ones. Um, but I do wonder if at some point there's almost gonna be like a even a tiered system of like, because this actually happened back oh my gosh, back on open cart days. There was different tiers of apps. So some of them were like with premium, some of them were just silver tier and stuff. And it helped the end merchant to know, oh, this is vetted. Oh, this can actually handle my store. And actually, the problem we face is when they had I forget what it's called now, but it's like the whole partner like goal. Where's the thing? You get it if it's built for Shopify. So you get like so we actually can't get built for Shopify.
The live rates thing.
Yeah. So and it's the thing, no one in our space can. So it's not just an us thing of like, oh, we suck. We actually have the fastest speeds. The speed we have is insane. But we can never actually do it because of the fact that we have API calls. Like we can't remove that functionality because it just ruins major features we have that our merchants use us for. So it's this weird situation of like, I want to obviously be recognized there, but I can't do that without actually penalizing my existing users and my future users. So I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a huge chaos. And again, let's see what happens. I'll be at the editions. Would love to bring this topic again, meet you guys face to face, and see a potential solution around this. I've dropped a couple of messages to the Shopify team members, but I haven't heard around this specific thing, because I heard this while I was talking to you guys during the curation phase. But yeah, no solutions on that front. But then coming back. For anyone who's a e-com founder, and if they're listening to this episode, what's that one thing you would suggest them they should fix in shipping today?
One thing, oh my God. Like that's so hard. One thing would be show delivery dates. Just it's so critical, and actually Shopify does have it built in. There is, again, like anything built in Shopify, there are limitations to it, and that's where, "Hi, we come in." Um, but also just make sure you're actually looking at how much you're charging for shipping versus how much you're actually paying. Because so many people just kind of, the average it out, but if you can even shift it from having where 60% of your orders actually like always make money, you're never losing on shipping, to even 70, you're making a huge impact on your bottom line. So just pay attention to it really.
Got it. And for the Shopify app founders who are actually building in complex categories, let's say like consent, shipping, checkout experience, what's one advice you would give them today?
Oh goodness, that's hard too. I think hire the right people.
Uh-huh.
That's honestly what it'd be. I look at my team, they are so phenomenal. I'm so lucky to have them on at least kind of following the journeys. Joel and I were like, hey, we want to do this. And we found people who want to do it with us. And it makes it a lot more fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we're coming towards the end of our conversation today, Sharon. But I really love this particular segment that we are going to do. It's called as the quick fire round. I'll ask you a few questions. You just have to answer them with the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, ready?
I'm scared.
Very simple questions. And again, we can always redo the tape.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
What's the one underrated e-commerce lever brand forget?
Well, is it cheating if I say shipping?
No,
It's shipping.
got it. What's the one common shipping mistake brands often do
Oh gosh, I think they charge too little.
for shipping?
Hmm.
Got it. One Shopify app you love the most and it can't be your own app.
Okay, really? Oh gosh. I actually really like Cleverific, and not just because we're friends with them. I love it because I'm the person who will put the wrong shipping address in because I ship things between the office or my house, and I don't have to contact humans if you're using them. So
Awesome. Shipping versus pricing, which has the biggest impact on conversions?
well, they're kind of tied, right? It's tricky because it's the shipping price. Because you can have a low price and a high cost at checkout, but also like vice versa. Oh, I don't know. Can I say I don't know?
Both goes hand in hand then.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh, keep
Awesome.
that in.
Awesome. Well, Karen, this is your moment if you want to say something to any e-com brand operator or agencies, go ahead.
So I just want to say that if you still like the idea of working with humans and being onboarded by humans, and if you are interested in making shipping a conversion boosting tool in your store and something that you just don't just kind of forget about, yeah, install us. We're actually free to install. You have 15 days of a live trial. You can talk to my amazing team. They'd be very, very happy to help you.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's a wrap. Sharon, this was a very insightful conversation. I think this episode really frames shipping from something operational into something deeply strategic. It impacts margins, it impacts conversions, it impacts customer experience, and even sustainability. For anyone listening, definitely check out Intuitive Shipping on the Shopify App Store or visit intuitiveshipping.com. I will add all the details about how to contact them, their listing, their website in the show notes. And a quick thanks again to the support heroes for supporting this episode. If you're a Shopify app founder and if you're evaluating adding a new support member to your team or even thinking about completely outsourcing it, then Support Heroes is one of the best solutions out there. You can pick a quick call with them, get a quick evaluation done, and they will help you out right away. All the details will be in the show notes. And if you're an e-commerce brand, check out our curated app list on the SaaShub.com and find the right tech stack for your growing brand. Again, this is Yuvraj Kevte, the host of the show, and this was another episode of the SaaS Hub podcast. See you in the next one. This is me signing out.